Good morning. I'm Victoria Esses. I'm co-chair of Pathways to Prosperity, and it's a pleasure to be welcoming you here today to our 13th annual national conference. It's great to see so many familiar people, as well as to welcome first-timers to our event, who will no longer be first-timers next year when you come back. We're really pleased with how the agenda for the conference has come together, and we worked with a very dynamic conference committee to make this happen. We're looking forward to the many engaging presentations and discussions, and as you'll see on your agenda, the interactive activity which we initiated last year has now become a regular part of our conference. This is a chance for everybody to participate and to express your views. The theme of this year's conference is Investing in Canada's Shared Future, Pathways to Possibilities, and this reflects our focus on the future of immigration to Canada. As everybody knows, this is a major time of uncertainty and change in the world, as well as at home, and it's an opportune time to be considering what the future may hold for the settlement sector, for researchers working in the area of immigration, and for policymakers who work in this area. So over the next 2 days, our keynote, plenaries, and interactive activity all have a future orientation. We'll be discussing alternative possibilities, and our hope is that on this basis, we can all better plan for what immigration to Canada may look like in the coming years. So a bit of homework or work for you to do to prepare you for the focus about thinking about the future. Your agenda book has an introduction and some information on foresight planning. This is on page 9 to 12 in your agenda book. And as you'll see, we've asked that as you listen to presentations during the conference, you consider change drivers that may shape the future of Canada's immigration system and note down any you think may be important. As we've indicated in the agenda booklet, a change driver is a driving force. It can be social, economic, technological, environmental, or political, with the potential to cause significant changes in a system. And for our purposes, we're considering change drivers that may influence immigration to Canada in the next 5, 10, or even 15 years. The interactive activity tomorrow, right after lunch, will be a facilitated foresight exercise using change drivers to think about and plan for the future of immigration to Canada. So in this time filled with many changes in Canada and globally, we think it's very important to discuss the possibilities ahead of us and how we can plan for our shared future. Just before we get started, a few housekeeping bits. So please put your cell phones on vibrate, but keep them available because you will be asking questions later using Slido. If you need to charge your phone or tablet, there are chargers available at the registration desk. The washrooms are across from the registration table outside. And the prayer meditation room for our guest is room 602, which is on the summit level, 1 floor up. You'll also need your phones and devices for simultaneous interpretation, which is available for all the common activities taking place in this room. And we encourage you to use the simultaneous interpretation and to connect to our Interprify app. And we do have extra headphones available at the registration desk while supplies last. Finally, we would like to mention that the PowerPoints from the majority of the sessions are or will be available on the conference platform. I always see people taking photos of the slides, which is great, but the PowerPoints will be available as well. And also the videos from all common sessions in this room and the virtual workshops and roundtables. And now I turn things over to Carolyn Whiteway, who is Executive Director of the Atlantic Region Association of Immigrant Serving Agencies, and Carolyn is Interim Sector Co-Chair of Pathways to Prosperity. Over to you.
Thank you, Vicky, et bienvenue à toutes et à tous. Welcome to Halifax. It's really exciting to see so many people here. We would like to acknowledge that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. This territory is covered by the treaties of peace and friendship, which Mi'kmaq, Wolastoqiyik, and Passamaquoddy peoples first signed with the British Crown in 1726. The treaties did not deal with surrender of lands or resources, but in fact recognized Mi'kmaq and Wolastoqiyik titles and established rules for what was to be an ongoing relationship between nations. It is my pleasure to present our special guest, Jude Gerrard, who is a member of the Millbrook First Nation. Jude is currently the Director of Indigenous Content and Connections at the Royal Canadian Geographical Society. Jude is an accomplished professional with wide experience in the federal and provincial governments, as well as in post-secondary institutions in Nova Scotia. He was the first Mi'kmaq employee to be awarded the Nova Scotia Premier's Award of Excellence and has received the King Charles Coronation Medal from Universities Canada for his lifelong work in equitable education. And a description of Jude's illustrious career is, to date, can be found in the conference site. So, Jude, I welcome you to the stage.
I didn't trip. Good morning, everybody. Before I begin, my dear friend Kathy Martin, if you're out there, can you, if you get a chance, hit me up with a smoke signal on Facebook? I need to talk to you just for a second before I take off today. Off to a great start, right? I'd like to welcome you to the homeland of my ancestors, the Mi'kmaq Nation, a place where our people have lived for over 13,000 years. That's a long time, long enough to perfect the art of giving directions, using only shoreline landmarks, and our favorite fishing spots. I want to begin today with a story, and like many great stories, it starts on a quiet morning when children were laughing, families were cooking, and everyone expected a normal day. And then history had other plans. The Halifax explosion of December 6, 1917 shattered homes, hearts, and whole communities. Everyone learned about it in schools here in Nova Scotia. Some of us even got the pop-up book version. But what many of us didn't learn was how deeply it affected and impacted the Mi'kmaq community. We honor the names of 4 Mi'kmaq children whose lives were taken. George Francis Cope, age 3. Thomas Cope, age 12. William Nevin, age 4. And little William Paul, just 4 hours old. Their lives mattered. Their futures mattered. And we speak them today with tenderness. Across the harbor, Turtle Grove, our community was completely destroyed. And here's the part that still stings. That very same community was already scheduled for relocation just days later because residents didn't want us living so close. Apparently, we've always been too neighborly. I guess if you're building a city, it helps not to notice the people that are already living there. And of course, our friends and relatives in Africville were eventually displaced too. This time using the grand and official excuse of urban modernization, otherwise known as just shove them somewhere else, preferably downhill. Out of sight, out of mind, out of picture, and out of the history books. Now, Halifax really does honor memory well. There are steel markers across the city telling parts of the story of the explosion. And the city has done a beautiful job with them. But as you read them and walk around our wonderful city, I invite you to ask, whose stories are still missing? Whose names were not etched into the metal? Whose homes were not rebuilt? And as the thousand hammers rang out rebuilding the city, who held a hammer? And who was left holding silence? And this brings us to why we're here today. Pathways to Prosperity is about inclusion, migration, labor forces, welcoming newcomers, and building opportunities and belonging. And I'll let you in on something. Mi'kmaq ancestors, my ancestors, were excellent at welcoming newcomers, maybe a little too good at it. We didn't have immigration forms or border control, just a deeply ingrained cultural practice of sharing, trading, and showing people where to find the good mussels. We are in an age of reconciliation, but what we need is reconciliation, not just check boxes, not just land acknowledgements read too fast to mean anything, real listening, real relationships, and the willingness to sometimes say, I didn't know that. Thank you for telling me. Whether your family arrived 300 years ago, 30 years ago, or 30 days ago, once you're here in Nova Scotia, we are all treaty people. Your story is now part of this place, just as my ancestors' stories live beneath our feet and within the waters of this great harbor. Thank you for being here, for opening your hearts, for your curiosity, and hopefully for your willingness to ask questions, listen generously, laugh with each other, and maybe learn something new along the way. I want to just start your day with a smudge and a prayer. When we smudge, what we're doing is we're preparing ourselves to do good work, right? There's no right way, there's no wrong way. I just sort of did what my elders taught me to do. So what I do is I take the smoke with some of the medicines. I'm going to be using sage today, and we put them in some sort of bowl or shell. This is my sacred abalone shell. It cost me $14 on eBay. We don't grow them this big here, so you got to do what you got to do, right? So we take the smoke as I burn the medicine, and I take the smoke and I put it over my head, and it gets rid of all those negative thoughts I may have had and makes room for me to think positively. I take the smoke and I put it over my ears, and it gets rid of all those negative things I may have heard and makes room for me to hear the positivity in the conversations that are happening around me. I take the smoke and I put it over my eyes. It gets rid of all those negative things I may have seen. It makes room for me to see the positivity in the interactions that are happening around me. I take the smoke and I put it over my mouth. It gets rid of all those negative things I may have said. I live just outside a city. I said a lot of negative things on the way in here today. Didn't know if I was going to make it in time or not. When we talk about urban planning, let's chat. And I take the smoke and I put it over my mouth to get rid of those negative things that I said all morning. It makes room for me to speak positively and truthful. I also take the smoke and I put it over my heart. Gets so that all of my actions come directly from there, from that point forward. As a temporarily able-bodied person, I also smudge the bottom of my feet because my feet are what's in contact with Mother Earth. And it's my way of honoring that place where we all come from and where we eventually return to. So I'm going to say this prayer. And it's a little bit of a decolonizing way to do things here. How many of y'all were scouts or guides growing up? Just put your hands up. A whole bunch of you. I knew it. They lied to you. All right? They taught you those 4 cardinal directions: north, south, east, and west. You know, never eat shredded wheat or soggy wieners, whatever you want to say, or what you were taught when you were growing up. But they forgot about 3 other very important directions. They forgot about the direction above. They forgot about that direction below that anchors us. But most importantly, they forgot about that direction within. Because this is the only place that we can really create change, is within. We create that change within ourselves and surround ourselves with folks that are creating that change as well, so that we can spread that throughout the world, right? So this prayer is going to speak to the 7 directions as I go through it as well. So just bear with me here for one moment while I get this lit. I don't know if we asked for permission or not, but too bad. I'm claiming treaty rights. I've only ever had an alarm go off once. Unfortunately, it was at Pier 21 in the Immigration Museum, so I do apologize. Hopefully we'll do a little bit better here today. I will say I had about 200 kids with me, and they were really excited when the fire truck showed up. So let's see how it goes. As I light this, I would ask you, if you are able to please stand while I prepare for this prayer. Creator, Grandmother Moon, Grandfather Sun, ancestors whose footsteps shaped this land. We gather here today on Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral homelands of the Mi'kmaq Nation, with gratitude, with humility, and with open hearts. To the east, we ask for guidance from the spirits of the children and families who were lost in that terrible morning in 1917, including the little ones whose lives ended before they began. May their names be remembered. May their spirits find peace. May their truths continue to be spoken aloud. To the south, we ask for the healing for Turtle Grove, for Africville, and for all communities whose histories were cut, silenced, or scattered, whether by explosions, by displacement, by policy, or by indifference. To the west, we ask that you help us today to sit with the truths that may be heavy, but also find moments of warmth, kindness, shared laughter, and human connection. To the north, we ask that you help us walk in this gathering with curiosity instead of judgment, with generosity instead of defensiveness, with the courage to say, I'm still learning, and the compassion to say, your story matters. To the direction of below, we thank you for the ground beneath us, for the memories stored in the soil, for the waters of this harbor, for the winds that carry stories older than any building or any road or border. To the direction above, we ask that the conversations at this Pathways to Prosperity gathering be guided by respect, enriched by many cultures, strengthened by diverse experiences, and grounded in the understanding that we are all treaty people, responsible to one another, to our ancestors, and to the generations yet to come. To the direction within, we ask that you bless our words, bless our listening, bless our laughter, bless our tears, and bless the shared future that we are shaping together. In gratitude, in humility, and in community. Walalio, I thank you all very much. In Sinogama, all my relations. And for those of you who aren't from here, welcome to Chibuktuk. Oh dear.
Thank you so much, Jude, for welcoming all of us to this place, and especially for reminding us that change comes from within, and all of your teachings. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Giving you lots to carry.
Oh, yes. Just throw those under there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Great. And we will now have some words of welcome from the Honorable Lena Metlidge-Diab, Minister of Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada.
Hello, everyone. Bonjour à tous. Thank you for the invitation to join you at the Pathways to Prosperity Conference. I'm truly honored to be included. While I'm not able to be with you in person today, I did not want to miss the opportunity to share a few words with all of you, researchers, practitioners, community leaders, and partners across the country who work every day to strengthen Canada's immigration and settlement systems.
This year's theme is Investing in Canada's Shared Future, Voices to Possibilities. Comes at a crucial moment. Your discussions of drivers of change, such as public attitudes, market or labor needs, and global trends, help us plan for the Canada of tomorrow. At IRCCC.
At IRCC, we are committed to building a system that is more responsive, more predictable, and better aligned with the needs of communities, employers, and newcomers. Your research, collaboration, and foresight work play a key role in shaping strong, forward-looking immigration policies. You help ensure newcomers succeed and our communities thrive.
Thank you for your strong commitment, and I wish you an excellent conference. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And now we would like to present the P2P Jean McRae Legacy Award for a Newcomer Youth. I have the absolute pleasure of presenting the P2P Jean McRae Legacy Award for Newcomer Youth. This award was initiated several years ago to honor Jean's commitment to the founding of Pathways to Prosperity and her belief that we need to do all we can to nurture the next generation. We were really pleased to receive 37 nominations for the award this year, and it was really, really difficult to choose the final award winner from this amazing cohort of nominees. Each year, Jean participates in this selection, and this year, the award goes to an exceptionally worthy candidate, Tamana Haidari. Originally from Afghanistan, Tamana now lives in St. John's, Newfoundland, where she is a volunteer with the Association for New Canadians and has applied to be a social work student at Memorial University. Please take a look at her profile on the conference website. And at this point, I would like to invite Tamana to the stage. We wanted to introduce you to Tamana now, so at the beginning of the conference, so that you can all introduce yourselves to her over the next couple of days and welcome her to our network. Tamana, congratulations on receiving this year's P2P Jean McRae Legacy Award. It is well deserved. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the award. My name is Tamana Haidari, and it's an absolute honor to be here with you at the 2025 Pathways to Prosperity Conference and this year's Jean McRae's Legacy Award recipient. As a newcomer, I want to begin by recognizing that we are gathering here in Halifax on the tradition and unceded territory of Mi'kmaq people, and I'm grateful to be welcomed onto this land and to have the opportunity to envision my future here. As we gather today and I stand here accepting this award, I know that there are girls in Afghanistan who are banned from school, refugees and children who still do not have clean water, and newcomer who feels invisible in the very communities that they are trying to call home. My goal is to honor my mother's wishes and to serve with purpose alongside the children and displaced families, making sure that they have the education and safety I once longed for. I was born in Kabul, Afghanistan. I grew up as a refugee and I crossed borders many times to find home and hope. To be without hope is to me one of the greatest tragedies of humanity. And yet today, I'm standing here as a student in Memorial University in Newfoundland and Labrador, and as a TED scholar for community leadership. For me, being in this room, it's just not a professional moment. It is a human one. This year's theme, Investing in Canada's Shared Future, Pathways to Possibilities, feels personal to me. When we talk about future, AI, digital change, labor markets, and policy, it is easy to focus on systems and numbers, but behind every system, there's a person, a child trying to learn a new language, a mother working multiple jobs, a refugee teen wondering if they belong, a front-line worker and trying to not burn out. My own path has been shaped by people and organizations who saw me as more than a refugee case file. They saw me a girl with potential. That simple act of seeing someone's humanity is for me this starting point of my shared future. Jean McRae's legacy is about collaboration, resilience, and service. I see those values in this conference, in this conversation about the future of immigration, in the work of Lips and Riffs, and this spaces like immigrant entrepreneurs, marketplace, where creativity become livelihood. All of these reminds me of settlement and immigration work is abstract. It's about dignity, safety, and hope. Thank you to Jean McRae, the organizers, and the selection committee, and everyone in this room who works to make Canada a place of real belonging. I will do my best to honor this award with my actions in the years ahead. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you. And because we are a hybrid conference, we've got over 300 people joining us online, and we're actually a little bit ahead of schedule. So this is all good news for you in the room. It means that we have about 20 minutes to take a break, but we would ask that you come back in about 15 so that we will be ready for our keynote address, which comes next. Thank you.